I was not,
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. We will call our meeting to order. All rise for prayer and flag.
You'll bow your hearts and heads, please. Gracious Father, we just come to you now, Lord. We thank you so much for this opportunity. We could gather together. We thank you for the ability to celebrate the past 250 years this month, Lord, and all the festivities that happen, Lord. We thank you for the many blessings on our nation. Pray you to continue to bless us as a nation, Father. Help us always look to you. We pray for the service members who are putting themselves in harm's way today and their support staff, Lord, that you would be with them today, wherever they may be around the world, Lord. You would just keep them safe, keep your hedge of protection around them, Father. We pray for the first responders and law enforcement, Lord, as they serve our communities, Father. You would be with them as well, Lord. And many of them make many sacrifices and volunteer, Father. And I pray you just bless them back 100-fold, Lord. I pray that you would just lead and guide our meeting, Lord. May your spirit be here amongst us, Father. And we pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get started, I want to let you know, we do have an agenda amendment. The dollar amount for the BC or DCED resolution has been added to the new agenda. We'll continue. Roll call is myself, Commissioner Stiles, Commissioner Wink, and Commissioner Bachman. Next, we have public comments, which we have nobody listed at this point. We have the approval of June 6th.
there were several people that asked for public comments.
That was this morning.
You can ask your clerk, yeah.
Yes. But that was after the agenda was public. It was published. If you have comments when we're going through our business and our motions, you're welcome to make them then.
Well, I'm sorry, when are the rules for when we sign up for public comment?
It says. Anyone requesting an item in place, let me go on. Agenda we finalized Monday, 10 a.m., 24 hours prior, week of the meeting, Monday legal holiday. Public comments, section 3. Unless one of you see something different than I see, I don't see where it says it has to be 24 hours in advance.
I would just be confused as to when I'm supposed to sign up for public comment. The agenda item that I am here to speak on was added yesterday after I had received an email from you saying that the item would not be on the July agenda. So I don't know when I'm supposed to catch that time frame in which to sign up for public comment.
Well, I don't see where it says on here it needs to be 24 hours in advance, so
Okay.
I'm going to say that we could probably add you to the public comments.
Okay. I think there were others as well.
I would like to make a point of order. We need to have a vote on that.
I'll second that.
Okay, hearing that. I'm a no vote. A no vote for the 24-hour thing because it's not based on the fact that it's not based within our rule.
I'm confused.
I'm a yes. Let me rephrase that. I'm a yes vote for allowing them to speak because I don't see where it says within our rules that we have to have the advance notification.
Can I ask you a question? Did you change the rules that we had approved because we always have said 24 hours in advance?
That's my knowledge, just what's been provided since the time I came into office. I changed no rule.
Well, I'm going to be a no vote.
I'm a no vote.
Can I ask a question, Chairman?
Yes,
What rule did you amend?
I did not amend any rule.
So I'm not sure what the vote is on. Because I couldn't have complied with any 24-hour notice. The agenda item I was told was not to be on July. I can pull up for the rest of the board the email that tells me that. And then it was added at the last minute yesterday. How am I to give 24 hours notice when the agenda item was added less than 24 hours ago?
I have to be honest with you, I don't recall the email. Is it one that I sent from you when I was out of the
It
office?
was sent to the entire opioid committee.
And
It said that it would not be on the July agenda.
would you please pull that up and give me that date?
I guess I don't understand why we're limiting public comment if there's no rule that prohibits public comment.
I can understand that.
And
And
I
that's,
assume this meeting is a public forum in which people can voice ideas and opinions and discuss topics. That's usually how a democratic republic works.
This is the commissioners' business meetings. Items that are going to be acted on are on the agenda.
Now, I'm here to talk about an agenda item.
Right, I understand that. And
So I guess my question, Ms. Kaufman, when do I do that?
well, I would like a moment to look through it then and make sure it is not on there. And I know that's how we've conducted business since you've been chairman.
People have never showed up for public comment the day of.
No, we've denied them if they haven't had it on the agenda prior.
The agenda item that was listed on was less than 24 hours ago.
about 24 hours ago. I understand what you're saying.
Okay, but if you're telling me I need more than 24 hours notice, how am I supposed to comply with that rule?
See how you could. I would suggest, in order to keep our meeting going, that we go through and we get to the item that you want to speak on. You offer your comments about it.
If, at that point, if the chairman wants to permit anyone who wants to speak on that agenda item, I'd appreciate that. Will we have the opportunity to do that?
Yes,
Okay.
I will continue. The approval of minutes for June 9th, 2026.
Second,
Having a first and second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Expenditures, our top 10 expenditures.
Okay, that would be me. Let's see. Our top 10 expenditures were P Corp, which is our county insurance program, liability, et cetera, in the amount of $297,743. Second is UPMC for health insurance at $218,971. Third is Adelphoi Village, CYS, placement, $88,084. Number 4, Bedford County Conservation, which is 2025 salary and benefits reimbursement for the coordinator, $31,938. NPC, which is our printer of ballots, et cetera, election materials. For the primary, $30,576. Liberty Vote, which is our voting system, for primary election services, $29,534. Cornell Abraxas, CYS, home, $29,264. Infocon, which is software notices, et cetera. Quite a number of things it does for our offices. $22,856. Colossus is a jail tracker, $22,074. And the Academy, which is CYS placement home, $21,989. Just to make a few comments on it, personnel related obligations, they dominate the expenditures this month, accounting for 65% of the top 10 total. CYS residential placement costs remain a major expenditure, comprising nearly 18% of the top 10 expenses. Election costs reflect seasonal spending associated with the primary election. Technology investments continue to support county operations through software and public safety systems. And the top 10 expenses are concentrated in a few categories, with the top 3 line items representing 76% of all top 10 spending during this reporting period. And with that, I make a motion to approve the expenditures as listed.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I have nothing listed under old business, but I do have under county staff updates, awards and bids. We have a presentation we'd like to make to Brittany McConnell. This is a long time in coming. It's actually over a year it should have been presented.
Last fall,
I'm sorry,
last fall,
last fall,
yes.
October 27th. Or from 45, I'm ahead of myself now. It says Pennsylvania. Boy, would like me to be here, I'm sure.
You're right.
It says that the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, county staff professional, this acknowledges that having completed and training the requirements in the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Directive 2022-2, the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency did on October 27th, 2025, certify Brittany McConnell for Bedford County expiring in October 27th of 2030. They presented this county staff professional for the courses you've completed. We very much appreciate what you've done and the initiative you've taken to do this. And we appreciate the fact that you're not only serving the county inside the office, but outside the office. Thank you and keep up the good health.
I've asked Brittany, don't run away. I've asked Brittany if she would talk a little bit about what that training involved and how that helps her in her duties here for the county. Thank you.
Yeah, so there, like Commissioner Salzman mentioned, there is a directive laid out by FEMA. It lists the courses that you have to take. Those courses, they span all aspects of emergency management, from hazardous materials to threat and risk assessment, being a public information officer, holding conferences, doing press releases, things like that, as well as the functions of an emergency operations center. Really, it just covers anything and everything you would need to know about emergency management to really further prepare you for the job, and so you can maintain the competency throughout the years. Another requirement is also to attend in-service trainings, hosted by FEMA. We have virtuals, we have in-person, they can be statewide or regional, as well as attending other conferences.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The great job you do.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll move on to new business. Under new business, I have a motion to act on the change of assessment notice control report for the month of June 2026, based upon the recommendation of Nicole Abbott, Director of the Assessment Office.
So moved.
Second?
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to act on the purchase of service agreement between Bedford County Children and Youth Services and the following for a period of July 1st, 2026, ending on June 30th, 2027 inclusive, based upon the recommendation of Christopher Gresco, Administrator of Bedford County Children and Youth Services. It's Lucas Geller, Esquire, General Legal Counsel and Consultant, Guardian Ad litem to the children. Chad Fritz, Esquire, General Legal Counsel and Consultant. Carol Ann Rose, Esquire, Guardian Ad litem to the children. Gabriel Law Office, PLLC, General Legal Counsel and Consultants, Taylor O'Hara, PhD licensed psychologist, Daniel J. Duval, counselor and mobile therapist, Jennifer co-parenting program for females.
So moved.
I'll second.
Having a first and second, any additional comments? Anything you'd like to add, Chris?
Nothing, just a combination of, legal representation for our children, families, and, counseling therapists, and, Dr. Harris provides, bonding assessments for, families.
Thank you. Having a first and second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to act on the purchase of service agreement between Bedford County Children and Youth Services and the following for a period of July 1st, 2026, ending on July 30th, 2027 inclusive, based upon the recommendation of Christopher Gresco, Administrator of the Bedford County Children and Youth Services. It's Kimberly Ann April, Incredible Years in Strengthening Families Programs Lead Facilitator in Fishertown, Pennsylvania. Natalie Glass, Incredible Years in Strengthening Family Program Lead Facilitator in Bedford, PA. Heather Dawn Sipes, Incredible Years and Strengthening Families Program Lead Facilitator in Clearville, Pennsylvania.
Chair, I would, like to make a comment before we make this motion. I would like us to consider tabling this motion. As in reviewing this contracts, I'd like to see a little more specificity in the contract. I'm not saying there's any wrongdoing by any of the parties involved, or by CYS. I just would like to see, as I reviewed previous year's contracts, they were a bit more detailed. And so I would like us to consider tabling this and putting on next month's agenda and ask these, entities to provide a little more detail in the contract, if that's possible.
Mr. Watley?
Well, I would have some questions for Mr. Gresco. Are these timely that we need to approve these today?
It could wait till next month.
Okay, second of all, are there differences in the contracts?
There's differences where it's $1,550 for the entire program these individuals complete. It's $155 per session. So that's one group session, and like say, that constitutes as a jail. We changed the wording because when the individuals sometimes go to the jail might be on lockdown. There could be issues there, or the individual providing the therapy, providing the treatment might be in the jail and on lockdown there. So she has to complete the entire program, and there's a number of sessions to complete. So it's 2 sessions a month. We have a fall session, there's a spring session. But these are services that's required to help parents that help them be able to parent, help them, and it's an evidence-based program. So looking at the last 2 to 3 years that Commissioner Wink mentioned, the prices and the costs haven't went up, and we anticipate for 26, 27, there's no additional cost or fees. The grant is a grant that's 95% state and 5% county funding, so it's an evidence base, which means that the state's going to provide us with more money for the program.
Commissioner Wink, back to you. Did that solve the
well,
for you?
I guess, in looking at the contracts, like it is $1,550 per program, it says weekly sessions, but it doesn't really say like how many weekly sessions. When you look back at the old contracts, it says 2 18-week parent programs. So there's some definition to the sessions, I guess I'm concerned. And again, I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong on any level, but I think it should be more defined. If it's 8 to 10 sessions, then it should say in the contract, 8 to 10 sessions, and not just kind of say per program, because then someone hypothetically, and I'm not saying anybody's done anything wrong, but hypothetically, someone could say, well, they completed 2 sessions, they completed the program, because it doesn't necessarily define how many sessions are needed. So I just would like to see more definition in the contract, just so I'm more comfortable, just because of, it is public money. And I realize it's 95% state funded, but it's still taxpayer money. We all know, the state has its financial challenges. We have our financial challenges. I guess I'd like to just see a little more definition in the contract. But again, I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong. I just think for sake of, defining it out a little more, I feel like it's just too, it leaves, and not that someone's done something wrong, but it leaves the door that someone could, because it doesn't define how many sessions there are in a program. So I don't know if we could reach out to them and ask for an addendum and then put it on next month's. And I'm not diminishing the work they do, I'm not diminishing the work that CYS does, that you all do a great job working with the youth but, as commissioners, we're also the fiscal watchdog, we do the best we can to keep an eye on things, it came to mind, kind of stuck out to me that change, and, so I'd like to see put on next month's agenda with an addendum made to define the sessions as what they are.
Seems that CYS is amenable to that. I'm okay with it.
We will table it till the next meeting. And we'll wait for Chris to give us additional information. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Excuse me. Next, we have a motion to act on the purchase service agreement between Bedford County Children and Youth Service and Bedford County Juvenile Probation Office for the following period, July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, inclusive, based upon the recommendation of Christopher Gresco, Administrator of Bedford County Children and Youth Services, and it's for Presley Ridge. The reason we have these dates was because this service was needed the previous month before June 30th of 2026. So it had to be put into place retroactive back to those dates. Am I correct, Chris? That's correct.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to act on the approval of purchase of service agreement between County of Chester at 313 West Market Street, Westchester, Pennsylvania, 19380, and the County of Bedford at 200 South Juliana Street, Bedford, Pennsylvania, 15522, effective July 1st, 2026 and June 30th, 2027, unless extended by written agreement of the parties or unless terminated in accordance with this agreement, based upon the recommendation of Chris Gresco, Administrator of Bedford County Children and Youth Services.
So moved.
Oh, sorry. Second.
Having a
Thinking
first and a
about it.
second, is there any additional comments? Hearing nothing, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to act on the appointment of Sean Bardell as a board member to the Housing Authority.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I missed one? Oh, F, I'm sorry. We'll go back to F, a motion to act on the non-place and purchase of service agreement between the County of Bedford and Cambria County Child Advocacy Center effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, based upon the recommendation of Christopher Gresco, Administrator of Bedford County Children and Youth Services.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Now we'll go to the motion to act on the appointment of Sean Bardell as board member of the Housing Authority of the County of Bedford. The term will expire on March 15th, 2032, based on the recommendation of Robert F. Harbaugh, Executive Director.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to allocate the Bedford County 2026 Entitlement Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, funds first to Saxton Borough Waterline Improvements in an amount of $173,460, dependent upon community results, and second, Lyman Borough Waterline Replacement Phase 6, multi-year, $34,514, based upon the recommendation of Bedford County Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me. Having a first and a second, is there any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry. A motion to submit a 2026 Entitlement Community Development Block Grant application on behalf of the Bedford Township Supervisors for a housing rehabilitation energy efficient improvements project serving low to moderate income LMI homeowners living in Bedford Township in the amount of $86,599 based upon the recommendation of Jeffrey Fellers, CDBG Administrator.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. A motion to act on the appointment of Jeffrey Fellers as CDBG Administrator with the Bedford County Planning Commission as a Section 504 officer for Bedford County based upon the recommendation of Bedford County Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry. Next is a motion to act on the approval of the DCED multimodal resolution that's based upon the recommendation of Stephanie Clevenstein, Director of Planning. I believe, Stephanie, you're going to read this one?
Sure.
Thank you.
Be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Bedford County hereby requests a multimodal transportation fund grant of $1,671,097.53 from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for the Bedford County Bridge 33 replacement project. Be it further resolved that the applicant does hereby designate Michael Stiles, Commissioner, as the official to execute all documents and agreements between the County of Bedford and the Commonwealth Financing Authority to facilitate and assist in obtaining the requested grant. I, Deb Bachman, duly qualified Secretary of the Board of Commissioners for Bedford County, PA, hereby certify that the foregoing is true and correct copy of a resolution duly adopted by a majority vote of the Board of Commissioners at a regular meeting held on July 14, 2026. And said resolution has been recorded in the minutes of the County of Bedford and remain in effect as of this date. In witness thereof, I affix my hand and attach the seal of the County of Bedford on this 14th day of July 2026.
So moved.
I'll second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to act on the approval resolution number 07.14.2026 based on the recommendation of Company Stephanie Clevenstein, Director of Planning. I believe you're going to read this one.
Sure. Resolution authorizing an application to the Pennsylvania Municipal Assistance Program. Whereas the County of Bedford will be undertaking a project to develop a strategic redevelopment and economic growth plan for East Providence Township. And whereas the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development makes available grants and aid to such projects through the Municipal Assistance Program. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the County of Bedford hereby authorize submission of an application to the Municipal Assistance Program. And be it further resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the County of Bedford hereby commit county resources in the amount of $46,443 as match for said project, adopted by the Board of Commissioners of the County of Bedford this 14th day of July 2026.
Thank you. Motion.
I'll make that motion.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments to that? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to act on the approval of recruitment and retention policy for policy for the Indigent Defense Grant as listed. I'm not going to read it, but it's there for you to read. And anybody have any additional comments before we proceed?
Yeah, I'll just make a comment that this policy is in place, or that I'm asking you to approve it for an indigent defense grant and simply for that purpose. We have been applying, working with public defender Karen Hendershot to approve this grant for the past number of years. The one requirement that had changed for this year to get the funding was that this policy needed to be in place, and that's why we're asking you to approve it.
Yeah, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Having a first and second, any additional comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to act on the approval of allocation of $90,000 to the Bedford County Regional Education Foundation of the Allegheny College of Maryland for the 26-27 school year using opioid settlement funds deemed compliant by the Pennsylvania Opioid Misuse and Addiction Abatement Trust for the Building Futures Scholarship Program. Student financial assistance shall be distributed by BCREF only afterwards have been authorized by a scholarship review committee appointed by the Board of Commissioners. All aspects of the program shall conform to the proposal as submitted and approved by BOMATT Trust. This is based upon the recommendation of Bedford County Commissioners. Before I proceed, I would like this one to be tabled because for multiple reasons, but one of the biggest things I don't like is the fact that we're going to issue scholarships that have to be approved by a scholarship review committee that we don't have at this point in time.
Okay, so you're making a motion to table?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Stiles, I would request that the public be heard on this matter. You said you would recognize me.
And I
People
will,
who want to speak.
and I will, sir.
Okay, thank you.
My recommendation is to table it for the time being, till next meeting.
You don't have a second.
Okay? One moment. I'll take a motion.
I'll make that motion, as you read, to act on the approval.
Second one motion.
Having a first and second, any additional comments?
I can speak.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment before we open to public comment. I think there is a lot of confusion here. I understand, which is why I'm not opposing comment about this at this time. I feel that, maybe there were things that were communicated to our commissioners opioid advisory committee that a majority of the commissioners had no involvement in. And believe that full information was not presented based on the opposition of the chairman who is going to be opposed to this. A majority of the commissioners were not present at that meeting, nor were we invited. I did see an email that Judge Livingood sent out yesterday to our advisory committee, asking them to be here today and to stand and oppose this. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of stuff going on around this. Just so that the public knows, everybody knows, a majority of the Board of Commissioners can place things on the agenda or remove things from the agenda. So what you were told by one commissioner who has their own agenda regarding this motion is not something that I am comfortable with. And it's a problem to me how this is transpiring. So, and I'd also like to welcome Leah Peppel from ACM, who's here with us today.
I appreciate your remarks, Commissioner Bachman. If there is confusion on a matter, in my experience, the way that you resolve that confusion is by actually letting people speak and discussing the topic. When I was waiting for the opportunity to speak, just before I get to my comments on the agenda item, I do believe your vote violated your own rules. Under section 3, public comment, it says, a speaker shall request to be placed on the agenda as provided in section 1 of these rules. In section 1, it says any request for matters to be placed on the agenda shall be submitted in writing 2 business days prior to the advertised meeting. That would have put it as Friday. This was not an agenda item until yesterday. You can't stop people from talking if they can't comply with the rule. You're setting up an impossibility. And the problem with that is that when government officials stop people from speaking, that's a problem. But the bigger problem is when they stop that speech based on its content. All right, to my remarks.
timelines are, last Wednesday,
I'm sorry, I
we
think I
did,
have the.
we did submit the agenda item, just as for your knowledge.
As far as the public was concerned, that agenda item was not on until yesterday.
And you did not go out till 10 a.m. yesterday.
So I don't know how anyone else is supposed to know the agenda items. I appreciate the time, Mr. Stiles, to make comment on item N of the agenda, which is the proposal to send $90,000 in opioid settlement funds to ACM for scholarships. For background, I serve on the local opioid trust committee with approximately 9 other individuals. This committee was created by the commissioner. The committee discusses proposals for the county's opioid settlement funds and makes recommendations to the commissioners on how to best use those funds. While the commissioners have been invited to join our meetings, they do not attend. All of the people on this committee have extensive personal and professional experience with those impacted with the opioid epidemic. Most of the committee members deal with those affected on a daily basis. Some of the committee members have lived that experience themselves. The members on this committee come from different backgrounds and professions, but we all have something in common. We all volunteer our time to help those people in our community whose lives have been negatively impacted and unfortunately, most often destroyed by the opioid epidemic. About 2 weeks ago, at the request of Commissioner Stiles, our committee held a special meeting to discuss what appears as item N on today's agenda. Commissioner Stiles was the only commissioner who attended this meeting. Our committee discussed agenda item N at length, and our discussion was recorded at the request of Commissioner Stiles, presumably so others could watch. After discussion, the committee unanimously disapproved the proposal. The disapproval was based upon 2 basic problems. 1, that it restricts applicants to only one institution. And 2, that the institution is the sole decision maker for those scholarships. In other words, once the money goes to that institution, we lose it. I want to be clear. This is not about scholarships. The committee unanimously supports using the opioid settlement funds for scholarship opportunities. But that is the key word, opportunities. We are not providing opportunities to people if we limit their choice to only one institution. Whether it be a barber's license, a commercial driver's license, or some other vocational or online program not offered by ACM. We as a committee believe the county should offer those in need opportunities instead of restrictions. And I want to be absolutely clear. This is not about ACM. ACM is a valued institution and a partner in our community. As the committee has repeatedly stated, if every single applicant for these scholarships chose to attend ACM, the committee would be thrilled. But it should be the applicant's choice. The committee believes that we should not arbitrarily limit people from other opportunities, indeed, even other local opportunities within the county when they are attempting to improve their lives. Commissioner Bachmann, a few weeks ago, you authored a letter to the Gazette editor criticizing your colleague for refusing to trust the judgment of a department head that you honored here today on a matter of her expertise. Then why on this issue would you ignore the unanimous judgment of an entire committee in an area of their expertise? Commissioner Wink, a few months ago, you claimed to be a watchdog. Today, you did. You claimed to be the watchdog of the people's money because you asked a lot of questions. Then why on this, which is the largest singular expenditure of public opioid funds to a non-county entity, have you asked the committee 0 questions? Why would you hand over that amount of money with no oversight and no transparency? Perhaps we should practice what we preach. Arbitrarily limiting your constituents' options for education is a detriment, not a benefit. Needlessly restricting their vocational options is a barrier, not a support. The opioid settlement funds are there to help your constituents whose lives have been destroyed by substance abuse. Those people need opportunities, not more barriers. Thank you for your time, and I'm sure myself and other people in attendance would be happy to answer any other questions you have during your discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to speak? All right.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Karen Hendershot from the Public Defender's Office. I am not a member of the Opioid Funds Committee. So I am not privy to any of the discussions that were referenced by Judge Livingood. I am just here based upon what I'm reading in the agenda and my experience working with those who have suffered from addiction or in recovery, and also members of our treatment court team and the things that I've learned through that process. When I'm reading this resolution or motion, it raises concerns for me because I know in the course of representing Bedford County in a POMAT appeal, that we have to be very careful in tracking these funds and showing that they're being used specifically for this affected population. So I have a concern about that tracking. Even when treatment court, we're looking at how many participants have had opioid experience or addiction, how many maybe is another drug, and we're providing those figures. That is something that we'd be entrusting an agency to do third party, and that raises concerns. Like Judge Livingood, I have absolutely no issue with providing people that have suffered from opioid addiction with any opportunity that we possibly can to help them with a hand up and to help them reach their goals and to further their skills. And I certainly have no issue with ACM or any other particular school. However, something that I've noticed in the course of treatment court is some of our participants are very interested in trades. And this does not necessarily account for that. I would have to concur with Judge Livingood that we're kind of directing them into one source as opposed to giving them options. And not everyone is necessarily interested in some of the fields that maybe would be available there. They might be more interested in a trade school or some other program. The other issue that I have is in working with my clients, and especially those that are reentering the community from incarceration, we have a huge issue in our county with a lack of public transportation. We've been talking about this issue for probably the length of time that I've been in the Public Defender's Office, which is now 14 years. We have a SUV that is sitting at the jail that we still don't have an approved driver for, that we could be using to help get people to their appointments, to see their probation officers. Transportation is an enormous barrier for people in recovery, enormous. And I'm just curious as to why there hasn't been discussion about using funds to find a solution for that problem. That is a here and now, right now problem, especially for people that are new to recovery. And may not have a driver's license, may not have a vehicle, may not have a good support system to help them with that. So while I commend the commissioners and trying to be broad-minded and looking at options, and I think scholarships is a great idea, I think we have some pressing right now needs that would help people that are battling that addiction and entering into recovery right now that we're not addressing. And we have an asset that we've purchased that's just kind of sitting idle. So I think that we should be working on those issues maybe first. The other issue I would have, and I'm just speaking as myself as a taxpayer, is when I'm looking at this agenda, I would not know what that meant. If I was not privy to the types of things that I do, as just a member of the community, I would not understand what is happening here, what safeguards were put in place, how these funds are used. So when you're saying that this is on the agenda, well, no information's been circulated. People aren't educated on that.
unless they can come to this meeting, hear about it, or maybe you table it as suggested by Commissioner Stiles and get more information out there. And that way answer some questions, or that might help you maybe tweak your ideas a little bit. But I don't see the harm in tabling it, and I definitely think that there needs to be more transparency, a more explanation for the use of those funds, because we have to really safeguard them and we have to really utilize them in a very controlled manner so that we're sure the target population is benefiting. Thank you.
Any additional comments?
My name is Melissa Jacobs, and it's tough to follow two people who obviously speak in public a lot for what they do for a living, but I am here as a member of the Opioid Settlement Advisory Committee. I'm a certified family recovery specialist, and I work with individuals, with families in our county that have been impacted by opioid use disorder and other substance use disorders on a daily basis. And I've been active in Bedford County's recovery community for about the last decade. And I also am on the ACM advisory, Bedford County Campus Advisory Committee. And I love ACM. I've supported it with my time and my money for years. I have two sons that I paid tuition for them to attend ACM. I love ACM, and I know that both Commissioner Bachman and Commissioner Wink are also on that advisory board. So again, I'll just reiterate what both Judge Livingood and Attorney Hendershot said when they said this is nothing against ACM, and I have supported requests for additional funding from the county commissioners in the past, and from our met with Jesse Talker to talk about additional state funds for our community college as well in the past. So I'm all in favor of funding. But my biggest thing is that the opioid settlement funds they're not a general education dollars or a general pot of money to be used to supplement the county budget. I'm not suggesting that that's what's happening here, but they are remediation funds for people who have been directly impacted by the travesty that was committed through the opioid epidemic. And so we need to really be specific with where those funds are going. Our committee, which are people who are boots on the ground in our county, fighting for recovery and fighting for our county residents who have been struggling with this issue. They're the people who are the most well qualified to make a recommendation. And our recommendation was that funds be set aside in a dedicated account overseen by a scholarship committee and awarded based on clear established criteria. And for any usable any accredited institution, including ACM, but not limited by it or to it. So the purpose of these funds, again, is to reduce barriers for individuals impacted by opioid use disorder, either by their own or a direct family members. And those barriers look different for every person. Some people may need a trade certification or a CDL or welding or whatever. And our county desperately needs those type of skilled labor people as well in it. But some individuals may require a bachelor's degree. Some individuals may be in need of scholarship assistance that's more flexible for a recovery friendly lifestyle, evening classes, online classes that don't maybe fit inside of what an ACM scholarship would provide. So restricting these funds to a single institution, even one that I deeply support, does not fully reflect the needs of the population we're trying to serve. It also does not reflect the recommendation of the committee tasked with evaluating those needs. So again, our goal is to expand opportunity, not to narrow it. A flexible county administered scholarship allows us to meet people where they are, honor the intent of the settlement funds, and ensure that every Bedford County resident who's been impacted by an opioid use disorder has access to the educational path that best supports their long-term recovery and stability. So I respectfully ask the commissioners adopt the committee's recommendation for the funds to remain separate from a specific educational institution. So thank you very much.
Any additional comments? Hearing none, before I continue, I would like to say that I also support ACM. I'm fine with ACM. I just not in favor of putting too many eggs in one basket. I think there are additional places where the money can be used. There is a Bartle School, there is CDL. Where they do have a CDL program, it might not be best for everybody based on the location of it. Once the tech gets up and running in a couple of years, they'll be able to offer more information or more classes. But right now, they can't offer an HVAC. They can't offer the building code. There's too many things that they can offer. And that's the biggest reason why I'm opposed to it, as well as the fact that I think we're putting the cart ahead of them. So I would ask one more time before we proceed, I would like to see this tabled until the next meeting. And
We already have a motion on the floor.
I
In a
understand.
second.
Okay, having a first and a second, are there any additional comments? All those-
Yes. I would like to. I appreciate everything that was said today. And thank you all for your service, in the community. And, it's in a way wonderful. We're talking about this. There's so much interest in helping those move ahead and find success in their lives. And, I think that's a very positive thing. I did want to make some comments. I was a career educator for 17 years. That was my career before I became a commissioner. I worked with students from all kinds of backgrounds, with obstacles, teaching skills. They had different knowledge, different goals, different abilities. And I'm a believer in education, all kinds. And I believe it provides a hope and a promise for a better future. So that belief led me to an idea a long time ago. I'm thinking maybe a year ago, I'm not sure, before anything was put in writing, as far as what a scholarship program would look like. And, it was an idea that the county could apply opioid settlement funds for scholarship aid to those affected by opioid use disorder. So excited by that idea, I reached out to our community's education partner, ACM. And I asked about exploring the possibilities, if they were interested in exploring the possibilities of how we could serve this purpose. And so they were very enthusiastic about exploring that with us. And I set up a meeting with the commissioners. I believe Stephanie from planning was there. Leah Peppel was there from ACM. Also, we had Bernie there from probation. The warden, Joe Eichenlaub, was at that meeting. And Chris Fresco was at that meeting from Children and Youth. And we talked about the ideas and whether partnering with ACM would be a positive thing, whether they felt it would be useful with the populations that they serve. And I think some of those people, well, 3 of those people serve on the opioid advisory committee. And from that meeting, I was pretty excited. Everyone there thought that that was something that should be moving forward, that we should continue to explore. ACM, as the community knows, meets students where they are. And they actively help them get to where they want to go. There are many programs that ACM works with. They have traditional degree programs. They have workforce development programs working with employers, certificate programs. They run the adult classes through the Career and Tech Center, working with Mike O'Delic with that. And so looking at the infrastructure, and the solid reputation they have in the county for assisting many different kinds of non-traditional students, making sure there is the support and also helping find other financial aid and all kinds of things. I believe this was a good starting place for this program. There's a lot of unknowns with it. How many people are going to be interested? What kinds of programs are they going to be interested in? This is a bad idea. Maybe we need to expand it and have more funds for this program that are used in different ways. It's a starting point. So after that meeting, I know Commissioner Wink, and he can speak for himself, has been on board with this. And there's been a lot of meetings with ACM to develop a framework. One of the misconceptions seems to be that this funding, if approved today, would just be shipped to ACM and they're going to make the decisions. No. Attached to the agenda, I hope it got on the web, was the scholarship program as approved by the trust. And there are copies here if anybody, would like a copy of that. And if you look at the motion, it does state here that no financial assistance will be distributed by the Regional Education Foundation until awards have been authorized by a scholarship committee appointed by us. So it's not ship it to ACM, they make the decisions, they hand out the money. That's not how it would work. And that will be our next step, is appointing that committee. The school year is about to start. Beyond the folks that you may work with in the community, there's also students at the high school level that may have been impacted as a child, for example. Working with guidance counselors may be an appropriate use for some of these funds. So starting a new program, needing in place the supports and the expertise of our local partner, our community college that works with all kinds of students and has a success record, is our starting place, not an ending place. So that is, I would just like to say that I hope that you will talk about this. ACM is continuing to work to, define this, and it probably be adjusted all along the way. Money can be reallocated differently if, two people are interested in attending there. And, we have 50 people who would like to do something different. We also look at how much money is going to be going to these students. Obviously, if you want to be a nurse, there's different pricing for classes. Yes, maybe you want to go to, I don't know, Kent State or Mount Aloysius or whatever. I'm not sure who has strong nursing programs. But it's also offered at ACM at probably reduced cost. So there's more bang for the buck and there's more money then to distribute to other people. This has been thought about. It is being thought about. And by more people than do sit on the advisory board. And we do appreciate the work that you do. And I believe have approved most everything when we've, allotted funding for it and gone to the trust. And instead of making this a negative, it should be positive here for this community. There are people that could utilize that money right now in this structure who can find a program at ACM. And I don't want to hold them back because there's a lot of other infrastructure to build to make sure those funds are going to be used appropriately. So that's why I'm supporting this motion. And, you know, I've been supporting it all along the way, and I thank, ACM for their partnership. And I hope that this motion will prevail.
Comments?
Yeah, just a couple of brief comments. When the opioid committee was formed, by the Commissioner Chip West to serve on that committee, we looked from different people from different, um, walks of life, expertise, different educational backgrounds, job backgrounds, employment. One thing that was decided by the commissioners was not to attend those committee meetings, but to allow the committee members to have free discussion amongst themselves about the various ideas without feeling any kind of undue pressure from the commissioners to support a specific program or an idea. Or we would throw some ideas at Stephanie Clevenson, and she would take those back to the committee, and they would, I guess, rigorously debate those issues and have, you know, and things like that. And so I really appreciated those thoughts. And then it came forward that they did approve going forward with the Building Future Scholarship Program, and the trust approved it, which was absolutely amazing in itself, because we know, you know, there's some things the trust hasn't approved, you know, like the trust hasn't approved every aspect of the treatment court, which we're now currently battling in litigation about to get that part of that approved, you know. So, you know, so we're, I think that this is, as Commissioner Bob said, is a starting point. The Building Future Scholarship Program is a starting point, with ACM being that starting point, but also I believe that it will expand beyond ACM to other schools, you know. But one of the biggest things I saw as a commissioner is this opioid money that we have, just seeing it sit there, not seeing it used. We have over $1 million in this account. And the fact that we're splitting hairs on the fact that we want to give scholarships to people in recovery and we're using ACM, it just baffles me that when as a commissioner, I see this is a starting point for that can grow beyond ACM to other colleges. And the fact that ACM is open to those ideas, they don't see themselves as the sole track for a scholarship program. They see themselves as one part of the scholarship program that was approved by the trust. And, you know, the fact that not only can I get ACM and get a good quality education, but there's opportunity to go to the tech center and get a trade. You know, there's the opportunity to learn a skill and have that paid for. And to me, again, this is a starting point that will expand, and so I'm really proud to stand behind it. I think ACM does a wonderful service to our community. They're a wonderful community partner. It's great to see this money being used and moving forward instead of just sitting in account crowing. You know, and so I wanted to see people get help. I want to see people in recovery get help. I want to see children get help whose families suffered from addiction. You know, them to get some help with some scholarship funding to follow their dream. And what's amazing with ACM is what you find out is if they do decide to do the college track, you know, a lot of those classes transfer to higher education beyond the 2 years, so they can transfer those to another school, you know, and keep pursuing that degree. They can go to Penn State or, Geneva College or wherever they would choose. A lot of schools accept their credits that they have there, and probably ACM could better speak to what schools offer that. But I know a lot of schools recognize those credits, and you know, so I think it's a great way to put this money to use. It's a great starting point. And I think it's going to expand to include other schools. The Building Future Scholarship Program, which is a larger program approved by the trust, ACM being part of that. You know, we're not locked just into 90,000. You know, if that money gets used up, we can go back to the trust and ask for money, and that money can be sent to other schools to use for students to other schools. You know, we're not locked in, and once something is approved from the trust. So, you know, why we would make this an issue when it's trying to help people who are in recovery, it just absolutely baffles me. You have over $1 million in an account and you watch it sit there. And just because you don't like the personalities involved in the discussion, you come out against it. It just absolutely astounds me. So with that, I rest my comment.
My final comment would be that I don't believe, based on the way this was written, that we have all of our ducks in a row prior to making a decision. We are putting our cart ahead of our horse because we do not have a scholarship review committee appointed. Even if ACM would come in tomorrow and say we have 6 students that could take advantage of this, we don't have the proper method in place to approve all of that. That's going to take time. That's why I was asking for it to be tabled until the next commissioners meeting. I don't support the fact that I support ACM by all means. ACM is a good institution. They offer good things, but they're not for everybody. They can only offer the classes based on what they have. By their own recognition, we have to have a college scholarship or a GED. Some of the people don't have GEDs. We have to be offering things for them to get a GED. We have to be offering more than just what ACM's offering. That's where I'm standing. Based on that, we'll take our vote. We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Aye. Who cares? Next, we have a motion to act on the approval of children and infants in the workplace policy based upon the recommendation of the Bedford County Commissioners. And I will let that go as way it's presented.
So moved.
Right?
I'll second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next, I have a motion to act on the approval of the following personnel actions received by department heads for June 2026 as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. I have nothing under additional commissioners' comments. Do you have anything additional you'd like to say today?
We're very thankful that the state budget is passed. Gonna be good news for everybody. I'm sorry that there wasn't more there for mental health than 911. Because those are essential services, so I'm grateful.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Our next meeting will be held on August 11th, 2026 in this room.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Next, we'll have our salary board meeting. I'll call that meeting to order. Roll call of members, myself, Commissioner Wink, Commissioner Bachman, and Melissa Cottle, Secretary Treasurer are present. I'll take a motion for the approval of the minutes from June 9th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any additional comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I have nothing under old business, but under new business, I have a motion to act on the approval of wages or as by union contracts for the following personnel based upon the recommendation of respective department heads for June as listed.
So moved.
I'll second.
Having a first and a second, do I have any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry, and I'll adjourn this meeting as well.
So moved.
Next meeting for August 11th. Thank you.